Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and soul-source.org. My name is Karen LaPuma and today I want to talk to you about the astrological weather report for mid-December 2020. Every adversity has within it an equal or greater benefit. That's what Napoleon Hill says. December is like a climax of an intense year. There's a lot of profound collective dynamics going on. Not only are we in eclipse season the first 2 weeks of December, Chiron, the wounded healer, shifts directions. Mars is conjunct Eros in Eris, squaring the Capricorn cluster. That's a heavy cosmic drama. But the major turning point is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius on the Winter Solstice, which brings a radical change. But I'll talk about that next time. Right now, I want to talk about just this solar eclipse and what's going around that time. We had a lunar eclipse on November 30th. And then we have an exact solar eclipse on December 14th at 23 Sagittarius is 08 at 8:17 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Eclipses are super intense energies, and they bring shifts and they reveal secrets. And their effects can last up to 6 months. So it's in Sagittarius, which is a changeable, universal fire sign. It's optimistic, it's inspiring, expansive. It has to do with philosophy, justice, education, law, religion, and truth. So first of all, where do you have Sagittarius in your chart? And then Jupiter as the dispositor, where is that located? Because these are the areas in your life that the changes will take form. Most important, set your intentions. You may feel an acceleration, like you're wanting a quantum leap, and it's important that you look at your beliefs. This is a South Node eclipse. You're dealing with past thoughts and beliefs that are manifesting in your life. Mercury, our mental capacity, is conjunct this Sun-Moon conjunction, and it's Jupiter is besieged. When we look at the dispositor of all of that, is besieged between Pluto, intense, transformative, death, rebirth, and somber Saturn in Capricorn. And it's in its sign of detriment. We have to battle oppressive thoughts and narrow thinking. What outmoded beliefs are holding you back is a big question. The shadow side of Sagittarius is my beliefs are the only beliefs. So how can we open up to listen, to hear others' opinions? You know, we're in a divided world right now. And because it's Mercury, which rules media, and it's bringing up secrets, there's something in the media that we really need to look at. It's time for objectivity and unbiased reporting. We're experiencing the darkening of light. That's what an eclipse is. So it's wise to go inside and take time to reflect, and it feels like a narrow birth canal. Remember that all that is happening out there is a mirror of what's going on inside. This is not to disempower you, but to empower you. Not to blame or say you're doing something wrong, but to know that we have influence in our lives and that the outer world reflects the inner world. This solar eclipse exact will be, seen in parts of South America, southern South America, Chile, Argentina, and Southwest Africa. It's going to be like 3.5 hours, and we'll hear some changes, so we need to watch if these countries come into the news in the next 6 months. But what's really important is this new moon, this powerful new moon, is being squared, which is a conflicting aspect with Neptune. Neptune is, I call him the mystical escapist. And so there's illusion and delusion and confusion. Today I heard, I feel depressed. Another person told me, I think I have a dark cloud on me. You may be feeling discouraged, despondent, isolated, confused, empty. You may be going through a dark night of the soul. You know, this is important that you're questioning the void or questioning purpose is basically. So how do you escape? What are you addicted to? These are things to look at, because Neptune is how we cope in some ways and escape. This time is calling us to expand our spiritual nature, to go inside, surrender and let go, and trust in a greater good. The big question that Einstein asked is, do you believe it's a friendly universe? If you do, then everything is for purpose, higher purpose, that this coronavirus, this issues that we're having are all grounds to find more meaning and to push us on track. This year many of us went in. So you also need to ask, where's my support? Where do I find connection? Where do I connect with my innocence and my hope? What grounds and centers me? So this is enormous crisis that we're having right now. It's like this huge spike in the coronavirus. We've been in lockdown 10 months. The corrupt and complacent political scene is beyond disturbing. We don't know truth from fiction, and the news is biased based on where you listen to it. And when we look at sidereal, that's a completely different astrology, but it gives more pictures. This solar eclipse is happening exactly at the last degrees of Scorpio in the sidereal zodiac. And the Vedics called this Gadanta. And what they say is that it's a critical time, and it describes being out of control, overwhelmed, drowning, flooding. But to us, it means emotional stresses. Mars will go through this critical period, after this eclipse, when it leaves Pisces and goes into Eris. And also in Vedic, there's a Kalasapa yoga, which means that all the planets are on one side, which shows that things are out of balance. So that's just a different perspective. But what's really interesting is that this eclipse is right on Trump's birth chart. He was born during an eclipse in Sagittarius, South Node conjunct the moon, and this is a South Node right on his moon. And so the Vedics call the South Node Ketu, which signifies loss, abandonment, and sorrow. It's definitely rules the home, the moon, and the emotional nature. So I just read in a blog that he has Cercipius, which is I think I'm saying it right, but it's that mythological creature that keeps pushing the big rock up the hill, and it keeps coming down. He just doesn't give up. So just take a deep breath. What's also interesting at this time is that Saturn is in the last degrees of Capricorn. And when it's in the last degrees, it's kind of emphasized. It brings up its shadowy side. And Saturn has to do with, limitations, binding, restrictions, and control. So we're seeing the shadow side and the strong resistance and our own personal blockages are coming up. This is from December 7th to the 17th. And we also have Mars, energy, drive, and ambition, conjunct Eris, the female warrior and the goddess of discord, revealer of discord, in Aries, which is a sign of the individual freedom, activating these Sagittarius planets. So this is telling us to use our energy wisely. We have it. But this Mars-Uranus energy will be squaring these Capricorn planets. They have been. They did in May when Eris Pluto square was George Floyd, and it was also in February, I think. But it's here again, and this, so there's this kind of power struggle going on with the individual versus power and control. And as I mentioned, Chiron going direct right after the solar eclipse it's just showing that this crisis is necessary. This is the wounded healer, and it's telling us that we have avenues of healing. So where can you find this healing? It's like a dramatic symphony where the crescendo builds and then it's a culmination. The great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius on the winter solstice near the galactic center begins a new 200-year cycle from Earth to air. And this is radically different from what we've experienced in the last 200 years. This is just the beginning of a new paradigm, but there's great promise. And I will do this in a few days, another blog, because it was so much information on the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. It's called the Great Conjunction, and it's so intense. So my work is the goddess warrior on the hero's journey. And I'm writing a book, a series of books called A Toolkit for Awakening. And I believe that this is the best of the collective. It's something that just evolved. It's like a gathering. And being a goddess warrior on the hero's journey is what this times need. Open your heart and trust in and that a greater good is happening. That's what it means to be a goddess. Then take responsibility to set worthy intentions and be present in the now. That's what a warrior is. There's higher energies flooding us on the earth at this time. Keep your vibration. Stay away from the dramas. Look inside deeply. Awaken your spiritual practices even more. And don't take things personally. I really appreciate you listening to me and having a great, great time. And thank you and many, many blessings.